Hey guys, back at it. State championship week. They're handing out gold balls this week in Chattanooga. Where does the time go, man? Where does it go? It should be maybe October right now, but we're in December, so we're gonna start with D2, USJ and Nashville Christian. Man, I wish I could say I picked USJ in this one. I really do, but I got Nashville Christian. It's kind of similar to the Westview thing. It's just I'm not gonna believe that somebody's gonna outscore them, for 4 quarters until I see it. So I got Nashville Christian in this one, but I don't think USJ's up. You know what creek without a paddle. I just think that NCS just when you watch their games, is you look for a weakness and or whatever to exploit, but it's like not only do they not have a weakness, but it seems like they don't have a level or group or position group or anything like that that's not a strength, if that makes sense. I mean, they're just fantastic from the line to the just everybody. I mean, it's going to be tough, but like I said, I think USJ they'll probably do better than most other D2 1A schools, and I think they could be in this in the late third, early fourth quarter or even throughout the fourth quarter if they just kind of stick to a game plan. But NCS is fantastic, y'all. I mean, it starts with Jared Curtis, 5-star quarterback, just flipped his commitment from Georgia to Vanderbilt, which is pretty wild, and he signed there today. So I'm speechless. I didn't think that was going to happen. So we're not talking about that really though. We're talking about the championship game. But yeah, it starts with Jared Curtis. He's a monster, man. I mean, he's one of those kids that you just don't see much. You don't see a lot of Jared Curtis's, not only in Tennessee but throughout the country. You just don't see many kids with his size, his speed, his athleticism, and most importantly, his arm talent. He's just fantastic, and you got to play basically perfect to beat a player like that. But that being said, he's got teammates like TJ Ward, their running back. He's got over 20 offers. I'm not sure where he signed today or if he signed today, but number 10 is fantastic as well. And what really sticks out with me for NCS, being a defensive minded kind of guy, is, their front three. Their front three on defense they're tough, man. And I guess it's what are their names? I have it here somewhere. Yeah, Matthew Newberry, number 55, Kenneth Harris, number 73, and Colt McClary, number 8. They're dogs up there, and they run a 3-man front, and not a lot of high school teams do that, but they're so effective with that 3-man front. So really, if I'm USJ, I'm coming out and I know it's kind of goes against your instincts, but with a 3-man front. But if I'm USJ, I'm coming out and I'm throwing to Jake Payne, to Bradley Stamper. I'm gonna try to get them from loading the box with because their big three in the middle. They're gonna be there regardless, but they have fantastic linebackers too and fantastic DB. So it's just like I would probably try to start the game off with throwing to a Bradley Stamper or a Jake Payne, kind of keep them from loading the box. I think that'd be a good way to start, and then start feeding Jackson Pugh. But man, like I said, I'm still going with NCS because it's just like the Westview thing. It's just I'm not gonna believe that somebody's gonna outscore them for 4 quarters, even when you're up with only a minute or two left. I still got Nashville Christian if they're in striking distance, and that's just how it is, guys. I would love to be wrong on this one. I would love to see USJ bring back their first gold ball in school history in football, but I'm going NCS on this one, and go out there and prove me wrong, Bruins. I'm rooting for you. Promise you that. What's up, y'all? It's we're gonna talk 3A state championship now. It's gonna be Gatlinburg Pittman against the Westview Chargers, and man, I like Westview. I like Westview in this one, and I think they'll win. pretty handily, in my opinion. If I'm the Westview coaches, I'm watching film from Gatlinburg Pittman, at least their Tyner game, and I think they're going to see what I see, and that's a lot of, I guess, matchup advantages to be had, and I think they will take advantage of those mismatches. But Pittman, they're here for a reason. They're in the state championship for a reason. They beat a really good Tyner team, and just truth being told, I don't think Pittman is better than Tyner, but I think Tyner, because of course Pittman won the game and they won it for a reason. But I think Tyner would have matched up better with Westview, if that makes sense. Um, but that doesn't matter because Pittman's the one who won and they deserve to be here. But I just like Westview's chance. I just like it from the line to the backs to, of course, the quarterback. I just think Westview's going to be too much for them. But I've been wrong before. I could be wrong again, and that's nothing new. But I just really like Westview's chances in this one, and I think they bring a gold ball back to Weakley County and Martin, Tennessee. You know, Pittman, they've got some good players. Like Braden Maple's a fantastic back. He's like, I take him on my team any day of the week. But I just think they're going to be a little outmatched from the line to the receivers, quarterback, their defense, same story. I'm not seeing a ton of matchups that I would love if I'm on the coaching staff for Pittman. It's funny. They've got a great school over there. They've got a great stadium, and because I'm the way I am, because I'm such a crazy person, we a few years ago when we took a vacation out to Gatlinburg, we were about to go out to dinner or something, and we drive by Pittman High School. So I'm like, hold on, I gotta stop. I gotta check this out. So I went and looked around their high school. Their beautiful, beautiful football field, and that really has nothing to do with nothing. But just every time I hear Gatlinburg Pittman, that's a little memory I think of. But I think Pittman's bringing home the silver ball, which great story. There's nothing wrong with that, man, and there's nothing to hang your head out on about that. I think when I was watching the broadcast, the announcer said that either that was the first semifinal game for Pittman in 25 years or the first semifinal game in Gatlinburg in 25 years. Either way, I mean, you're in the state championship. Anything could happen, but I'll be very, very surprised if Pittman pulls this game out. So I got Westview. I think it's going to be a pretty convincing win, I guess you'd say. Look at that, man. We're stepping it up. But I think it's going to be a pretty convincing win for Westview, and I think they're bringing that 3A gold ball back home, and their second one now. So I don't really have just a lot to say about it. I think Westview's a better team. So what do y'all think? Let me know in the comments. All right, y'all, on to the Class 1A championship. It's going to be the South Pittsburgh Pirates against the McKenzie Rebels. How many times have we seen this one before? But I think this one's going to be another good game like the last time these guys met. Get it out the way. I still like South Pittsburgh in this game. I wish I could say McKenzie. But that being said, this one, I struggled with this one. I did. I struggled with this because there's a lot of things I think McKenzie could do to the Pirates, and there's a lot of things I think South Pittsburgh could do to McKenzie. But I'm gonna stick with South Pittsburgh in this one. They're a bunch of freaks over there, man, and in football that's a compliment. Just being clear, if you're not into football culture, that's a compliment. They are freaks over there. One of the biggest 1A teams I've ever seen, man. They've got, it looks like a 60-something, 70-man roster. Their starters, their offensive line is huge. And I think it's going to give McKenzie some problems. But McKenzie, they're going to have a really good chance in this game. Will not be shocked at all if the Rebels come out on top. I mean, to start, they have, in my opinion, the most impactful player in this ball game. And that's Cole Brown. Cole's going to affect the game on offense, defense. Whenever he's on the field, he is a playmaker and he's going to make plays. And I think that's going to be a big problem for South Pitt. Watching their game against Coalfield gave them some trouble. I mean, South Pittsburgh, they were in control of that game for the most part, basically since the start. But, Coalfield gave them some trouble. And I think a little bit of that had to do with, probably the 20-degree weather or whatever they were dealing with over there and all that. But, South Pittsburgh will commit penalties. They'll commit penalties for sure, and that could be another advantage that plays in McKenzie's favor. But, man, just from the Giants on the line to the freakishly fast, backs and D-backs and all that, I'm going with South Pittsburgh, and I'm going to stick with it. I'm not really super confident in this pick. I'm not, because I'm just not going to be surprised at all if McKenzie leaves this game with the gold ball. But just everything I saw, I'm leaning South Pitt, if that makes sense. Just to get into it a little bit, they've got some really good players over there, man. They really do. When McKenzie's on offense, they're going to have to account for J.R. Hardrick at all times. At all times. He's number 9. He's a defensive lineman. Just signed with Clemson. And there's a reason for that. He is long, athletic. He gets after it. And he just impacts the game in a way that you don't see a lot of, guys with their hands in the dirt. You don't see a lot of those guys impacting the game the way he does. When McKenzie's on offense, they're going to have to count for him because almost like a shutdown corner, he will take away a side of the field, because if you go to pass in his direction, even if he doesn't get to you, he'll slap the ball out of the air. He'll just get up and slap the ball out of the air. And I could imagine how frustrating that is for quarterbacks, because it's just something that you don't really have to deal with a lot in high school, at least in 1A. And I'm sure it's going to get frustrating at times. I really do. So you're going to have to count for that. But that being said, they got playmakers all over the place. They got Jacoby Melton. They got Cason Brown. They got Avery Brown, and their backs. They have a stable of backs themselves. But it's just, I think South Pittsburgh is going to end up on top in this one. Your line, the line's got to be on it. South Pittsburgh is going to be bigger than you up front. That's just, there's nothing you can do about that. But guys like Winstead, Elijah Darnes, they're going to have to be on this. They're going to have to protect their guys up. They're going to have to protect their guys up front for sure. And I think they'll do that. I think it is going to be one of the better games of the weekend, in my opinion. But I like South Pittsburgh to come out on top. I think McKenzie, this is their 4th matchup, all in state championship games. And McKenzie's 0-3. Does that mean anything? No. But it doesn't necessarily mean anything for this matchup, but I mean, these are still high school kids we're dealing with. There's still like a mystique factor that you have to account for, and South Pittsburgh has that. Their offense, the Pirates, they're very multiple. They're going to probably come out in a different formation almost every play, and it's a lot to account for. But really, I think they would be better if they just kind of didn't try to be so multiple and just kind of line it up and come at you. But I really want to pick McKenzie in this game. I do, but I'm going with the Pirates in this one. You may disagree. That's cool. Like I said in last videos and probably 1,000 other videos, I'm not right all the time. I just tell you what I think's going to happen. I think South Pittsburgh wins this. What do y'all think? Do y'all think the McKenzie Rebels come out on top, get another gold ball back to Carroll County? What's up? What do you think? All right, guys, the last game we're going to talk about, at least I'm going to talk about in video form, is going to be The 2A state championship is going to be Marion County Warriors and the Huntington Mustangs. I like Huntington. I like Huntington in this one. Just got done watching the Marion County game that they had against Eagleton. And, I like Huntington a lot in this one. I just think there's going to be a lot that they could do. I think with all due respect to the 2A state champs and the defending 2A state champs, I think Huntington's line is going to give y'all a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble. Marion County's got some good backs. They have good backs. They have a lot of speed. They got some speed for sure, but Huntington's line I think is going to feast on Saturday, and I really think that's going to be the difference in the game because Marion County seemed to have a bit of trouble with Eagleton's line, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you Eagleton's line is not Huntington's line. So I know it sounds a little bit simplistic, but I think that's what the game's going to come down to. I think the game's going to come down to Huntington's offensive line with Ashton Donald, Dillahunty, Braden Davis, all those guys. I think they're going to have a big game for their running backs and quarterback, and I think they're going to be opening up holes left and right. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Honestly, last year coming in, I didn't think Marion County would give Milan the game they did, but not only did they gave them a good game, they beat them. I think you might argue Jaden Pete's ankle injury had a little bit to do with that, but I mean, it's not like they get an asterisk for that in the record books or anything or on their gold ball, so who knows? Nobody's perfect at picking games. I know I'm not. But just what I'm seeing on film, I think there's a glaring difference when it comes to lines. And I think Huntington holds quite the advantage in that particular matchup. Marion County's got some good players, though. I mean, Mason Mays, I almost called him Miles Mays. Miles is his big brother who's at Chattanooga now, I want to say. University of Chattanooga. Or University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. But yeah, Mason Mays, he is a ball player. He's going to give Huntington trouble. He's quick, shifty. And I just based on what I've seen, he's the best player on Marion County. But it's hard to run when there's no holes. It really is. I don't care how fast you are. It's hard to run when there's no holes, and I think Huntington is just going to have too much for Marion County for them to overcome. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But I don't think I am. With all due respect to Marion County. Great team, But when I'm watching it, I don't know if they would even have been the semifinal team out west. That's just, I don't know. I don't think they would. Maybe they would have. I don't know if that team could beat East Nashville or Milan or East Robertson. I don't know. But that's not always what it's about. It is really not. But I heavily favor Huntington in this game. I would really like to know if Tyreek Hutch is playing. That would be something that I would like to know for sure, but I don't know, man. Just watching the games, to me, it looks like Huntington's the better team, and that's why I'm going with the Mustangs. I think they bring their first gold ball back since 2003, so maybe I'm wrong. I don't think I am. I like Huntington. I like Braylon Dearman, Kenton Smith. I think they're going to have big days. I just do. And if Tyreek Hutch plays, I think he's going to have a big day. And that's just a added layer for this defense to have to match up against. And I don't think they've seen an offense like this. I don't know if they've seen anybody run the type of offense Huntington does. It's just not a very common offense. And when the line's blocking the way that they are, it's just so hard. It's so hard to stop. And, a layer of people aren't talking about it is just Adam Parrish is calling really great games for Huntington. He's their offensive coordinator. He's been just dialing them up. He's been keeping defenses on their toes, and I think he's going to have some tricks in his bag this week. just aside from just straight trying to play straight bully ball. I think he's going to throw a few things at Marion that they haven't seen on film, possibly, or that maybe just kind of buried there in the film. I like Huntington. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? I don't think I am, but maybe I am. What do y'all think? Do you think Huntington takes it home, or do you think Marion gets the win?